What is going on, everybody? So tonight I'm going to be working on the Z900 and installing my new rapid Bike Evo auto tune solution. I'm pretty excited about this. It's plug and play pretty much with full harness, and yeah, hopefully it does the bike some good. Reason why I'm putting on the Evo tuner is, of course, I have some plans of putting in an aftermarket air filter on the bike. However, I don't really have any in stock that I can order yet. But of course, as some of you may know, the arrow headers and SC Project exhaust have been added, so the bike is in need of a tune. She runs great. I can tell the weight is lighter, opened up the mid-range for sure on the bike. However, you can tell it can use a little better tuning on the bottom end, a lot of popping and crackle sounds from the exhaust. So hopefully this will resolve that a little bit and help me run a little better. Also, this bike, you know, it may just be me. I'm in Texas, so it's super hot already, but it runs a little hot, and I can feel that heat. So hopefully this will resolve a lot of the issues and give me a little bit more power. A local shop here in Austin is about to get a dyno. The room is almost completed, and I'm going to take it to them. Place called AF1 Racing. So hopefully over the next few weeks, month, or however long it takes them to get the dyno up and running, and I get this bad boy installed, we'll have some dyno numbers on the Z900 for what I've got done to it. So under the seat, looking, I know I've got a wire and loom everything in, but I'm trying to see where the heck I'm going to put this thing. It does, and the kind of generic instructions from Rapid Bike kind of say mount it under the seat. However, in the instructions they have pictures. I think the instructions are for a couple of different bikes. So we look here, installation, yeah, so Z900, Z1000, Z1000 SX Ninja, and then the Verse 1000. So I think if I go to the mounting section, yeah, can't figure out if that's my bike or not. I don't think so. Place Rapid Bike mount module under the main seat. So after playing around with it a little bit, definitely not going in this area, because there's on the seat two little prongs that kind of go under here, of course, to hold the front part in, so definitely not going there. What I have done is gotten the relay and then a little fuse for the signals and a spare 30 amp, and unmounted those off these little clips here. So what I'm probably going to do is start playing with the wiring and see if I can mount it in here sideways like this, plug from this side, or if it makes sense to go here. I did put the seat on, and it certainly mounts in there just fine. Alright, so moving along, the directions on installing this are pretty interesting. Number 1, turn off the engine. Number 2, remove seats and fuel tank. Great. But got my seats, as you know, but now I'm going to start taking off the trim pieces so I can get the tank up and everything. However, there's a downside. These are a size 4. These are a size 4. Most everything on this bike trim wise is a size 4 millimeter. Awesome, except for, where the hell is my 4 millimeter? I may have to do it the slow manual way. Oh well. Actually, I take that back. I'm saved. I have one of these cheap kits with all the different bits, and I had a 4. Now it's time to get to town. Alright, this side of the trim is taken off. One little lesson learned, nothing major, but I will say, I'll go to the other side to show you, but yeah, I would start on the top trim piece and work your way down rather than take these off, because the way they're layered, and I'll show you here. So you can take this piece off, but when you start to take this trim off, there is a 4mm under this one. So you have to take this one first, then come down here to this, and again, you can do that one. But yeah, everything is 4mm. I'll try to show you guys. One here, these two, and then it lifts up direction towards the back of the bike off the little rubber tabs. You have one right under here, so that's 4, and then you got 5 and number 6. Everything else is little rubber grommets that just kind of poke into the mounting positions, and off it comes. So next, getting ready to do the tank. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually going to try and install this without taking the whole tank off. Really, I want to take the lazy route, but we'll see how that goes. Anyways, get the tank ready to remove. Bracket, 2 10mm bolts, pop. Then there's your main ones for the tank, and then you have 2 right here. I'll remove this trim piece around the ignition and get to those. Alright, so I've gotten all the trim off the side of the bike on both sides. Kind of looked around, mounted the gas tank. So everything's been 4mm little hex bolts so far. The tank is 4 10mm bolts. Pretty easy. Alright. So removing the tank was not bad. Again, it was just 4 10mm bolts for the Z900. I didn't want to take it all the way off, so I leaned it back on this soft little bag of fiber stuff I have. Anyways, and it's not going anywhere. It's full of gas, and everything's, you know, got plenty of slack. Nothing's under stress. Not worried about it. It seems to offer plenty of space. I was going to try to route my harness on that side. However, it looks like everything is on this side. So just keeping it in line with where everything else goes, from the injectors, TPS, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to wire it on this side with the main harness. Hopefully I get enough space, etc. We'll see. So before I finish up with the injectors, what I want to show is how this Evo unit is so plug and play ready. So here's all of our 4 adapters. Ignore this wire piece here on the end. That is for our TPS. Anyways, so just simple. Plug the inlet into the stock harness, and then this will go into the injector. So what I'm going to do, instead of have all this slack, I'm going to kind of zip tie these together. Here's the next one, and then, you know, here's number 3. We'll just slide that right in there, and then boom, it's done. And then on down the road line to the last one. What's going on? So it's the next day. You notice I started this project at night. Anyways, I called it quits. Didn't want to get too tired, mess anything up. Also taking my time, and I started late. I started at like 11:30. Anyways, I got the injectors all hooked up and in, and you can't really tell, but I got everything wired, and the clips go right back into the stock clip area. I did use a couple of zip ties and some soft padded Velcro tape. The reason why I went this route is, man, after all the plug and play and those wires, it was a lot of wires down in there, and rather than get lost and have just stuff going everywhere, I used the zip ties, a little black ones, and this to kind of like make it minimal, shrink it, make it pretty similar to the stock size. Of course, you know, you have almost double the wiring and stuff in the loom, so it's a lot thicker, but compressed it as much as possible, fit all right in there. Now it's not like just a whole bunch of wires just hanging in there. It's a lot cleaner, and it plug and plays just like the stock harness. So that's that. And then about to do crank. Let's see what else is here. The crank is next. TPS is on the other side. 12-volt supply, and lastly my O2 sensor. And then we'll start wiring it in and get everything hooked up. Alright, so again, so far I've got injectors done, and then right here up top here I've got the crank sensor in. I haven't put it back on the little mounting bracket yet it slides onto, because after I do the sensors over here, O2 sensor, TPS, etc., I'm going to bring all that extra slack and kind of, you know, wire it, because that is a lot to just sit up here. Anyways, over to the TPS, you'll notice here on the Z9 is just a little wire with a bare end to tap into the sensor. So you got two sensors. You got this one here right up top, and then right below that you have the TPS. It's a little 3-pin to tap into everything for the tuner. We'll tap into the blue wire, and you can splice in probably however you see fit, but Rapid Bike does put in this little tap unit, so it's a tight fit and there are not much slack with a stock connector. So I'm going to use, very carefully, an X-Acto knife, make a little slit in the covering or the casing around the wires to go ahead and install the little splice unit so I can get that wired in. Alright, quick few things on the Rapid Bike. It's going smooth, not taking much time. I'm just being a little diligent. Also, I got ADD, OCD, so I made sure everything's right. So on the instructions for O2 sensor, it says, hey, it's down here behind the frame. You can tell this is not a Z900, but there's the connector. Luckily, I remembered where my wiring harness was. So on the arrow headers, stock O2 sensor was about here, but now it's back on the other side, and I reran the wire a little bit, and according to the instructions it should be behind the frame here. However, on the new Z, everything comes up to this main area right here. So not only is my crank sensor right here, but also right below it, the second portion right here. So this is crank. This right here is our O2 sensor, the 4-pin connector for O2. So that's done. Also, I'll go ahead and try to zoom in and show. So here, injectors, but coming into here, you can see my little tap from our the TPS. So again, you can't even see that, and I was worried you could see it from the outside, but these hoses here hide everything, so that's nice. And alright, next here is feeding the voltage section. They have a little picture here, this figure, that is not the Z900. However, they do put a nice little blurb here of where the connection is, and what it taps into is your brake light harness, and that on the Z900 comes down and is right here. You'll notice on the 12-volt supply for Rapid Bike, it does not plug into that. It plugs into connectors like this. However, this is a whole adapter piece, part number, right there for the Z900. So we'll tap into here, feed that back into the 12-volt supply connections on the tuner. Alright, still working on this 12-volt supply. So really quickly, again, in the instructions it says it's next to the rear brake reservoir. You want to tap into the switch for the 12-volt. So here's our harness. The adapter, however, I covered. This goes to the 12-volt supply off the harness to from Rapid Bike, and this goes into this. However, the female goes in here just fine. It doesn't click too sturdily, or tightly or whatever. I mean, it's tight, but you can pull it apart if you really wanted to. However, the male portion, no go. So I don't know if you can tell. I've had to trim it. Couldn't imagine what to do if I did not have a X-Acto knife, but I got it to where it fits now. Monday I'll be calling Rapid Bike to try and get them to give me a harness that plugs and plays a little bit better, rather than having to kind of fabricate it up some by trimming the plastic and such. Anyways, we'll see how this goes. All right, so after looming in the harness up here, man, there is no room under here for this thing, without getting super creative or ditching the tool bag and making a custom area. So anyways, again, I moved a relay that was over here mounted, and my brake light fuse and spare fuse, 30 amp fuse, down over here. I can just pull them out. It's pretty tight fit. Right here is just mounted here, and it's as you can see, it's a tight fit. It's not going anywhere. Harness around, and then here's all my, quick shift, CAN bus, everything, the connectors there for software updates, etc. So that way I can access it from down here, or again, the seats pull off really easy on this bike. So anyways, I think everything's plugged up and ready, but let's just hope that it set. So she died. I gotta figure out why. Alright, third time's a charm, right? So the second round I just did, ran good, was idling. You could tell it was kind of figuring itself out, adjusting the tune. Gave it some gas, okay, gave it some good gas. When the bike vibrates, shut off. Looked around, and my ground bolt that came with the bike barely was catching due to the ground wire from the Evo bike. So I got a longer bolt and got it a little bit better. So again, came right on. Let's see if we can. Okay, we got flames now. Alright, she's all buttoned back up. Surprisingly, putting her back together, geez, that goes by fast. It only took me a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes, putting it all back together. Everything's ready to rock and roll, and I'll take her for her maiden voyage with the Rapid Bike Evo Tune. So, she's hot. Ran her on some good roads.